Hi guys, so this is learning activity sheet number 7 of General Chemistry 1 entitled Writing and Naming the Chemical Formula of Compounds. This is a run-through of the learning activity sheet provided by the Schools Division of Batangas para malaman natin kung ano yung mga activities na gagawin and to give you also background information tungkol sa lessons about writing and naming chemical compounds. So starting off with review of what a chemical formula is. It is the shorthand of expressing the types and the number of atoms in a substance. So, given the chemical formula, malalaman natin kung ilang atoms ng element ang present sa substance na yun. And it's important for us to know that the chemical formula or writing the chemical formula and even naming a chemical formula depends on what kind of compound are we dealing at. Ito ba ay ionic compound o ito ba ay isang covalent compound? Okay? So, simulan natin on how to write the chemical formula for ionic compound. So, para magawa natin yung chemical formula, bibigyan muna tayo ng pangalan. Example here is sodium chloride. So, from this name, meron tayong sodium and chloride. There's no really chloride in the periodic table, but what we have is chlorine. So, what we're going to write is the symbol for sodium and the symbol for chlorine. You will notice that for an ionic compound, the second name ends with IDE. So, doing that is already doing steps so number 1 and number 2. Next, i-identify natin kung ano ang mga ions na form ng mga elements na ito. Meron tayong listahan ng mga common elements. Bibigyan ko kayo, ipoprovide ko kayo. You can also research on the internet. Ng isang list of common ions. We have what we call anions, which are negatively charged particles, and cations, which are positively charged particles. Now, sodium is positive 1. It belongs to group 1A in the periodic table of elements. Fluorine is group number 7. It has a charge of negative 1, and it is found at the right side of the periodic table. It is a nonmetal. So, sodium is a metal, and chlorine is a nonmetal, telling us that it is an ionic compound. Ngayon, pag magagawa tayo ng formula, i-criss-cross lang natin kung ano ang kanilang mga charges. So, ang sodium ay 1, ililipat lang natin sa Cl. Yung 1 din ang sa Cl, ililipat natin sa sodium. Tapos tatanggalin na natin yung mga signs nito kung positive siya or negative. So, you'll end up with Na1Cl1. But, we are removing this 1 in the formula. Instead, we just write NaCl. And that's already the chemical formula of sodium chloride. Okay, ngayon, I'll give you another example. Paano naman kung meron tayong calcium tetrachloride? Okay, so tingnan natin kung anong gagawin natin kung meron tayong calcium bromide ang ating gagamitin chemical at aalamin natin kung ano ang kanyang chemical formula. Okay, so ang calcium kasi is 2+. So we have calcium 2+. At pag ikinambay natin to, let's say sa bromine, so this is plus, okay? So, combine natin siya sa bromine. Ang bromine naman ay may charge na negative 1 o 1 negative. Okay, it's just the same. So, sabi natin, kapag ka-ionic compound, since ang calcium ay metal, ang bromine ay non-metal, i-criss-cross lang natin ang kanilang mga numbers. So, ang nangyayari, ang calcium is magiging calcium 1, ang bromine ay magiging bromine 2. Kasi, pupunta sa kanya yung number 2 ng calcium. Kung kaya naman, yung 1 naman ng calcium, tatanggalin na natin yung number 1. So, ang final formula niya ay calcium Br2 or CaBr2, which is calcium bromide. So, ito yung first name niya, calcium, just Ca2+, and then the bromide is bromine, that's negative 1. Okay? So, that is the formula for calcium bromide. So, we'll just have more of these examples later. Punta naman tayo kung paano naman tayo mag-name ng ionic compound. Kunwari, hindi natin alam na ang NaCl ay sodium chloride. So, madali lang ang naming. Una, meron siyang parang pangalan ng tao. Meron siyang first name, meron din siyang last name. Ang first name niya ay yung metal name. Sodium, sodium lang. Tapos kita natin yung chlorine, hindi natin siya tatawagin sodium chlorine, tatawagin natin siyang sodium chloride. Papalitan natin yung I and E ng IDE. Magiging ngayon siyang sodium chloride. Parang ang first name niya ay sodium at ang apelyido niya ay chloride. Kapag meron tayong ionic compounds. Okay? So, ang ionic again is metal and non-metal. Kapag nagsusulat tayo ng formula, aalamin natin kung ano yung elements na present, aalamin natin kung anong charge, i-criss-cross natin, and write the final formula. Kapag naman magpapangalan tayo, parang pangalan ng tao, may first name, may last name. Ang first name niya, just the name of the element. Pero yung second name niya, kapag sila ay mga elements na isa-isa, change natin yung huli to IDE. Okay? Next. Ano naman kapag covalent compound? So, sorry, this is not ionic. Step B in your copy of LAS is writing chemical formula of covalent compounds. Paano naman natin malalaman ang covalent compound? So again, ang covalent compounds are composed of nonmetals and nonmetals. Dalawang nonmetal, we have a covalent compound. At ang isa pang palatandaan ay gumagamit tayo ng mga prefixes, kagaya ng mono, di, tri, tetra, penta, hexa, hepta, octa, nono, or deca. Diba tricycle? So tri, tatlo. Tetra means apat. Penta is 5, 6 hexa, and so on. Ngayon, sabihin sa atin, gawin nyo ang formula ng carbon tetrachloride. Okay? Kapag first name, hindi nilalagyan ng mono. Kahit ibig sabihin, isa lang siya. Hindi na siya monocarbon. Let's just write it as carbon. Okay na yon. Pero yung second name, gagamitan natin ng prefixes lagi. So if it's tetra, tetra. Paano kung may dalawa naman sa unahan? Pwede natin gamitin ng ibang prefixes kapag ito ay di, tri, tetra, penta, and so on. Pero ang mono, hindi na natin kailangan sa first name. Yung mga di hanggang sa other prefixes lang ang pwede natin gamitin. Now, carbon and tetrachloride is composed of carbon and chlorine. So let's try to find out the atoms involved. And then, sabi dito, carbon lang, so isa lang yon. Tetra means 4. So we will have to consider the prefixes na tetra. So that we have carbon plus 4 na chlorine, remove the plus sign here, just copy it, CCl4, will be the formula for carbon tetrachloride. Okay? So let's have another example. Kunwari, meron tayo nito, nitrogen trichloride. Okay, so if it's nitrogen trichloride, so you just have to write the symbol for nitrogen, and that is N. And for chlorine, that's present here. So let's just write Cl. Pero ang sabi, sa nitrogen, walang prefix. So that's just 1. Pero ang chloride, 3. So that means Cl. Tri means 3. So that means there are 3 Cl there. So we will put it here. And Cl3. So that is now the formula for nitrogen trichloride. Now, how about if it's di? That means 2. So, for example, carbon disulfide. So, we'll have carbon and disulfide. Sulfide is sulfur. So, since there is di in front of the name sulfide, so that means we have to put 2 as a subscript. So, we'll put here 2. So, the formula for carbon disulfide is CaCSN2. Okay, so very easy for covalent compounds. Okay, I think that's it muna for our first video. We will continue the video for other types of compounds and how to name them. For the meantime, we try to find a list of ions, both positive, negative, and what we call polyatomic ions. Okay, so that's all for now. We'll have the second video regarding writing and naming chemical compounds.